This week I'm going to take you on a journey of automotive abuse, a torrid tale of violence, neglect, betrayal and possibly, and hopefully, redemption. This is a 1998 BMW e38 750i, and that means it's one of the world's finest sporting saloons. It's got a 5.4 litre V12 naturally aspirated engine, multi-link rear suspension, 4 doors, and it's widely regarded by many people, including myself, as the finest looking BMW 7 Series ever made. It is also a Bond car seen in Tomorrow Never Dies, you know, the one where Pierce Brosnan drives it off a car park. It's the third e38 750 that I've actually owned, but I'm sorry to say that over the years I've let it get into a very sad state of neglect. It went from this to this. But this week, with the help of the guys at First Choice Detailing and also Car Technic, we're going to try and rescue it. Welcome then to the Car Guys, and welcome to the restoration of my BMW 750i. Let's do this. And here we are in my BMW 750, the E38 body shape, my absolute favourite of all the BMW 7 Series. Now, as you saw from the outside, this car is looking a bit sad and a bit sorry. It really does need a load of TLC, and thank goodness I've managed to persuade one of my friends, Jake at FCD, to handle all of it for me. He's going to take care of the lot. So we've got a trusted BMW specialist to deal with the full service that it needs. There's an MOT station just next to Jake who can deal with the MOT, which is of course run out. I've got to get a new windscreen. I forgot about that, didn't realize I needed a new windscreen, but when the lorry clipped this car and took off the wing mirror on the passenger side, it also cracked the windscreen. So right now I'm heading down to Christchurch, which is where Jake and the MOT station is located. And this car has not been driven for at least a year. List of jobs then to bring this 7 Series bang up to scratch, wrap off, MOT, service, new windscreen, detail exterior, detail interior, and of course a new passenger side wing mirror. So this is the start of the restoration of this car. All these jobs are going to get done over the next few weeks. We're going to document it as we do it, and then we're going to show you the finished beautiful article. And of course I'm going to go for a drive, and probably Jason's going to come with me as well, because I don't think Jason has actually been in this car for a Car Guys review, and I think that needs to be rectified. Mechanically, this car is still very sound indeed. It's only done 38,000 miles, so it's a fantastic example. It smells a bit funky in here, if I'm being honest, because it's been sat for a while, but all of that can be rejuvenated and upgraded with a good detail inside and out, and Jake can work his magic. So I have no problem at all with how the car is cosmetically, because all of that can be fixed. Now, one of the first orders of the day is to get rid of that midnight blue wrap that I put on this car. I personally much prefer the E38 7 Series in a darker colour with contrasting silver wheels, but I've decided to take this one back to its original colour, which is silver. This car's got a blue leather interior with walnut accessories. The walnut not particularly to my taste, but it does kind of match the rest and feel of the car. You've got plenty of ruche leather everywhere, as befits a late 90s vehicle. You've obviously got the all-important, fantastic big phone, which of course doesn't work anymore. Certainly the steering is good. I've got no big wobbles through the steering wheel, which is nice. It means we haven't got any big corroded discs or pads, and nothing untoward has happened to any of the sort of control arms or any of the suspension. Considering it's just sat there festering for over a year, the 750 is feeling great, actually. Am I sorry that I've done this to my beloved 750? Yes. But I think it's time that this car got a lot of the love and attention that it deserves, and then I've got the decision as to whether I keep it or whether in fact the Maybach has now effectively replaced it, and that's the vehicle I go with. So you can see there, almost the same thing that happened to me on the M25 on the passenger side just happened on the driver's side. A lorry came flying up on the inside as I was merging on and almost took us out again. Cheers, Rings Transport Limited. Now, having driven the car a little bit, I've noticed there's quite a rattle underneath the car, but that's quite common actually for BMWs of this age. And what it is that the suspension components and everything have probably got a little bit of corrosion in there and they're kind of squeaking under the car. And here we are, we're at FCD, where I'm going to drop off the car and the work will commence. So you can hear the squeaking there. So this is what we're faced with. First of all, a bit of history. I bought the car from Hexagon in April 2017. They were getting out of the classic BMW business, and so a deal was struck, and I got it for just over £12,000, which for a V12 gas-guzzling older BMW seemed like a lot of money at the time. This is my third BMW 750. I've had a green one and a black one, and now this silver one. A 24,000 mile perfect example, probably one of the best in the world. It drove like new, I was extremely happy with it, and I used it as my daily for when I still worked. At the time I still had my previous black car, so the first job was to swap over the wheels to the ones that I prefer, as you can see here. What I should have done at this point was leave the car well alone and just enjoy it. But I prefer the 750 in dark colours, so I decided to wrap it in a dark blue metallic. And it's probably the worst decision I have ever made. Because not only is the wrap not as good looking as paint, but what I didn't realise is just how much of the car has to be taken apart when it's fully wrapped. And if you take something like a 750 apart, you better put it back together properly or it will always feel loose and baggy. And that, sadly, is exactly what happened. And actually, as time has gone on and as part of this restoration, we have found out just what an absolute show it really was. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I enjoyed the 750 for 2 years, but then I got the opportunity to buy my Maybach S600, and that relegated the 750 to second place in the luxury runabout stakes. And because of other purchases, the garages were all full, so it sat outside in all weathers, gradually going green. But enough is enough, and I'm here to start the whole process of restoration, and this little beauty is going to be taken back to showroom condition and then stored and used properly. It's going to cost a lot, but then it's my own stupid fault. And I should point out that whilst it seems like this whole process has taken a long period of time, I purposely didn't set a time limit, and I was happy for it to be done in between other jobs. So the first stage is here at First Choice Detailing, and Jake and his team are going to get to grips getting rid of that wrap. As you can see here, they've removed one side so that you can see the dramatic difference to the car's looks. And there it is, back to its silver glory, but before the full paint correction detail. Now I'm taking the car across the road to independent BMW specialists Car Technic, where it's going to get a full service, a check of its vital systems, and we're also going to fit a new wing mirror. And of course, lest we forget, we also have to fit a new catalytic converter after the previous one was stolen from this car.
So now we've removed our friend away from the drain bung, it's always important on these to make sure the engine's nice and hot. The oil then gets a lot more loose, everything gets together and it just drains much better. Always unscrew the oil filter at the top and then you know that all of the oil is eventually going to make its way out. As you can see, that is quite dark. So it is definitely due. At Damian's request, we just wanted to make sure this car is going to be absolutely perfect. This really isn't that dirty. You would tend to get like a very dark sort of residue here from all the dust and filth from the roads. But he just wants it to be perfect. So we're going to replace everything, make sure everything is absolutely spot on, and it should have many more years left to go. So service is nearly complete. There's a few things that we have written down just to advise. Nothing serious at all, it's just standard age-related stuff. These tyres, still absolutely legal, but they're very soon approaching 3 mil, and that's going to then start to affect the stopping distances, which isn't so good on a massive car like this. These are extremely common on the BMW. These are called the rose joints, and the little rubber seals, they literally just split. So what happens, water gets in there, you get the ingress, it dries out the joint, and then you get creaking. So If you hear a BMW going past you and it's creaking and creaking like crazy, that is why. This is another one that we see relatively commonly. This is your brake pad wear sensor, and it's all broken and it's not secured properly. Problem with that is where it's not onto your actual pads, it's not to tell you that the pads are getting low. So this could potentially cause a customer quite a bit of a dangerous issue in the future. So we're going to make sure we get a new one of these fitted, and then he'll know exactly when his pads are low and he needs to replace them well within time.
The windscreen is next, and for my sins I called out Autoglass, who I've used before, and they sent the wrong windscreen. But fortunately, a week later, the right one arrived. Here's the new screen waiting to be fitted in what we like to call an establishing shot. The old windscreen is then stripped of its surroundings, and through a combination of a piece of wire to slice around the edges and a suction force to press the windscreen out, the old screen pops out of the frame. Now we've got a gaping hole, and after some cleanup around the frame, it's time to get that perfect new one in. Voila, a brand new, ridiculously expensive windscreen, complete with rain sensor, more costly than pure gold. A quick trip to the car stop MOT centre, and the 750 is now all legal to drive on the road, so it's time for the final stages of the restoration. The full paint correction process, paint touch-up on the front bumper and rear boot lid, and the exterior and interior detail. You can see how faded the badges are, so those are all being replaced along with the wheel centre caps, and the chrome is all getting a makeover too. Jake's got the car up on the ramps, and it's going now through the final process of buffing up and polishing the exterior before a full interior redo. So that's it for now. The BMW is going through its final detailing stage, and the next time you see it, it will be finished. And we'll also go for a first drive in this magnificently restored BMW Beast. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode and you're looking forward to seeing the car in its finished state. If you like what we're doing on The Car Guys, please subscribe, leave comments and likes. There'll be another episode next week.